How in the hell does this baby wrap work? The hell? Hon, how does this stupid thing work? I don't understand. Do you know the answer, Kitty? Oh, jeez, I don't even know. What the hell is this? Some special scarf? Oh. Welcome back to my channel. You know, being a dad is the best job in the world. And I know that there are a lot of new dads out there who are probably scared, nervous, and unsure about what to do and what to expect when you have a little newborn at home. And I thought that I would take some time and just go over my top 5 sort of first-time dads beginner's list to go over some main points to help you through this, because I have gone through this twice now, and I remember when I was just new to being a dad, I knew absolutely nothing, and there, you know what, surprisingly not a lot of great resources out there for dads. And I thought, hey, I could do that. I could be that voice and provide some interesting feedback onto all this. So my very first tip for being a dad is get hands-on from the beginning. You know what? When you're a dad, especially here in Canada and in many parts of the world, you get parental leave. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do that. I'm pretty sure in many parts of the world you get at least a couple of weeks off if you wish to sort of readjust. But if you can, take several months off to be there with your newborn, because you know what, it takes a lot of time to adjust. Your entire life is being upended and changed for the better, of course, but it's challenging because the things that you could do before you can't do when you're a parent, especially with a newborn at home. And another thing that's will come and get you is your sleep deprivation. So newborns have to eat every 2 to 3 hours, and it can be extremely exhausting on both parents. So my advice is take the parental leave, take some time off if you can. And even if you can't, I still think it's important to get hands-on from the beginning. Change those wet diapers, help with playing, help with dressing, help with bathing, be a part of it. And it's not just my opinion. The scientific evidence shows that when fathers are involved in the raising of children, there is a lot of benefits, both in terms of academic performance, mood, and the child adjusting well. So it's very, very important that fathers try their best to be involved, not just for play, but also for the taking care of aspect. It's very critical, and it's very important, not just for your child, but also for you. And the reason why it's important for you too is that it can help form those lasting bonds. I can tell you from experience, my eldest daughter, I have 2 daughters, one is 2 and the other just turned 6 months. But my eldest daughter, I took 6 months off and spent a lot of time. I changed. I did night feedings. I did everything possible, playing, bathing, anything I could do. I try to be a part of it, and it's paid off with huge dividends. My daughter just has a wonderful connection with myself. She really wants to be around me all the time, wants to play, wants to interact, takes an interest, copies me. It's really, really nice that we can have these sort of little in-jokes, even at 2 years old, to help both of us through this wonderful world that we call life. So my number 1 tip is that you should get hands-on from the beginning. My second tip is an interesting tip. It relates to the first, but it's to help with breastfeeding or just bottle feeding. If your partner has decided to breastfeed, you should encourage it. It's a wonderful bond between a mom and their child. I think it's a wonderful thing, extremely natural, and as again, the science shows that it is has a lot of benefit in terms of immune boosting properties, as well as being the best source of nutrition for your baby. But what can you do as a dad? Well, you can help your wife or your partner by providing water. I remember when my wife was pumping and breastfeeding in the beginning with our daughter Ellie right now, she was extremely thirsty whenever she began to express. And I think being there, bringing the water, giving the breast pillows to help support, even just sort of providing snacks, or on the occasion that if your significant other does pump or uses bottle feeding, take some shifts, be a part of it, right? And it's a bond that you are forming for the rest of your life, right? These are your kids. They don't go anywhere. You will have them for the rest of your life. Why not start the bonding now? The third, I guess, big tip that I have for you, and this is a very important tip, is to look after your relationships. When a child comes, it is stressful. There's, as I said, a lack of sleep. That's the biggest one. But you kind of get absorbed into the world of being a parent. And this happened to my wife and I. When our daughter Aurora was born 2 years ago, it was just her. Like, our entire world became just her. In part because she's fragile. And when you're a new parent, especially a new dad, you kind of get like this sort of, I gotta protect, I gotta make sure they're okay, right? Especially now with the pandemic and things, it's even worse. You want to really, really hyper vigilant and be protecting of your offspring. But in so doing, you often let go of a lot of your relationships with coworkers, friends, parents, aunts and uncles, siblings. And that can be very, very detrimental, because you're going to need those support blocks to help you through and get through very, very difficult times. And we'll get to that in a second. But the other one that's also critical is not to forget your significant other. One of the biggest predictors, I remember once going to a group where there was some lawyers talking, and they said the number one predictor for divorce is if they're a first-time parent. And that's in part because not only are you exhausted, not only do you have a child that you're fully responsible for and you're adjusting yourself and being stressed with that, but usually your intimacy with your partner is in many cases absent. You've been clinging on, this little baby's constantly on you, always wanting to be on you. And that can be very difficult. You don't want to be cuddled at night. You don't want to be anywhere near anybody. You want to have your own space. The other thing is that obviously any kind of intimacy or sexual relations are often, you don't get those in the first couple of months, right? First off, your partner has to heal, and that can take 6, sometimes 10 weeks, right? On top of that, just being so damn tired and so exhausted, you don't even want to do that at all. You're not even thinking about that in most of the time. So you can lose sort of those bonds that hold you guys together as a team. And here's the thing, you're going to need each other. Both of you need to be together as a glue, and you have to support each other, because it's tough. It's tough when you're a parent. It's stressful. And having sort of any little bit of time that you can get to just sort of play a game or sit down and watch a sitcom together while you're feeding the baby, or any little bit of intimacy that you can get, or a back massage, or just getting flowers for no reason for your partner can go a long way. And it shows that they're appreciated and that they're still sort of desirable to you, because a lot of women in particular don't feel as desirable after having the baby, right? And it's also men have a hard time, right? Especially if you were in the delivery room, which I encourage you to. I think it's a great thing. I was there for both of my daughters, and actually for the one I helped birth. So I think it's a wonderful experience, and I think all men and all fathers should be there to do that. My fourth bit of advice is to ask for help when you need it. Don't be macho about it, right? It's a really tough thing. And what I mean by asking for help is if you're stressed, if you're getting to the point where you feel like you can't cope anymore, it's okay to tap out and ask a relative or your mom or dad to come over and help you out if they can. I know with the pandemic and right now it's been quite tough, with lockdowns all over the world, especially here in Ontario. It can be quite difficult. But even just dropping off formula. I know my in-laws as well as my own mom has dropped off all kinds of things, from diapers to formula to even just food. It's a huge help because it's one less thing you have to worry about. And it can be quite helpful. So don't be afraid to ask for help. The other thing is, if you are struggling at any point, and this is something that I don't think is talked enough from the father's perspective, we know that moms can get postpartum and they can get it quite bad. My wife, unfortunately, was one of those who got not only postpartum depression but postpartum anxiety, especially with this pandemic. It has been really, really hard going. But it can also impact your mental health as a father. My mental health has at times suffered, and part of that's my own doing, my own making. So please take it from me. You do not want to get depressed yourself, and it's very easy to, right? There's a big change in your life. It's stressful, lack of sleep. Those are the key ingredients for making anybody, especially with the pandemic going on right now, start to feel mentally unwell. And so my suggestion if you are feeling that way, to do my next point that I'm going to talk about, but it's okay to ask for help. Seek help from a doctor or a mental health professional. You do not want to get unwell. Try to reach out. Talk to someone. There's no shame in it. I have talked to many people over the years when I have felt really, really bad and been unable to cope with things around me. And it gets worse because I personally have the seasonal affective disorder. So when it gets due to a lack of sunlight, and I feel very, very rotten during the winter time due to the lack of sunlight. And so I have these special lamps and that to try to help me lift my spirits up so I don't get it as bad. But it's not fun. And I really want to urge, if you do feel that way, you feel suicidal, or that you want to, for example, shake a baby, which you never should do. You never shake a baby, right? There's that whole purple crying video about never shake a baby. Please don't do that. My fifth sort of point to help you through being a father, especially a new father, is don't feel guilty for taking time out of the day for yourself. And this is dual, I guess, even for moms. And I tell my wife this all the time. My wife feels so guilty for having to do anything for herself because she feels like her job is to be with the children and help them. And I know many fathers feel the same way. I do. I often feel really bad if I have to work, right? I have to work, and I feel bad that I'm unable to, especially being at home because of the pandemic and working from home and teaching here. I can hear what's going on, and I feel rotten that I can't help because I'm in the middle of teaching and I just can't walk up and go over and help. Or even if I want to just it's been a stressful day and the kids have been really, really active, or in some cases crying a lot. You know, Ellie right now, being 6 months, is going through that purple crying stage again. So there's a lot of crying and a lot of inconsolableness, right? Doesn't matter what you do. You try to rock and rock, and it doesn't work. It's okay at that point to ask for help if you're stressed, but also to say, okay, you know what? After this, and once you're calm, I'm going to take 10 minutes or half an hour, whatever you need, to get yourself de-stressed and recharge those batteries, whether it be a nap, a bath, a shower, a drive if you can, going for a walk, reading a magazine, playing some video games, whatever you need to do to kind of de-stress and take care of yourself. And here's the important part. You cannot take care of your children or your family if you are unwell. If you can't take care and be there for yourself to make sure you're okay, there's no way you can give 100% to your family. And it's something I've been learning, and it's hard to do that because I've always been one to self-sacrifice myself for my family and get sick for it. Whether it be I don't eat, or I don't sleep as much, or I overwork just to get enough money to support people. You know, my suggestion, and I've been practicing it myself, of course, is take some time. It's okay. Nothing is more important than your health and you being around to spend it with your family. Because in the end, as my wife always says, because I get really caught up on deadlines and work at times, the due dates are still going to be there. Tomorrow's another day. You can always move things around. When you're on your deathbed, are you going to remember that you didn't hand in that one grant on time, or the one assignment, or the one whatever on time? No. You're going to be more concerned about, I wish I'd spent more time with my family, and that's a regret you don't want. So, you know, please take care. If you have any questions or comments, please write those down below, and subscribe and like if you want more content like this. Because I think being a dad is the best job in the world, as I said before. And I want every father out there to be thrilled and feel supported and happy to be a dad, and not to be sort of sidelined, which can happen at times. I have been in certain meetings and gone to certain parenting groups, or even just, you know, play groups for our daughters, and I have felt sidelined from those. But don't let that get you. Don't get down. Get out there, participate. It's your life and your children. And I hope you all are doing well. I hope everybody's staying safe. And please, above all else, take care, guys, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.